hope I'm up to this. Thank you. Okay. For inviting me. He's covered a great deal of it. One thing he didn't cover, there was 100,000 casualties in the Battle of the Bulge, which I myself didn't even know at the time, although I found it out later. I knew the 19,000, but I didn't know 100,000 were injured. And the German invasion, or whatever you want to call it, into the Ardennes was started with 250,000 Germans. That was another thing he didn't quite cover. Now, one thing I want everybody to be sure that they know is that the Germans also, I'm not sure the exact days, but 2 or 3 days prior to December the 16th, the Germans sent through in about 10,000 Germans in American uniforms, and to turn everything under the sun that they could wrong in order to get us doing things wrong and everything. And that's a little bit important to the story that I wanted to give. I wanted to be certain that you knew about this. I don't know whether you did or not. My first story is one thing. My company was attached to 7th Army headquarters, and in Italy it was the invasion of southern France was formed in Naples, Italy, and then we went by ship into Marseille and Toulon in the invasion of southern France, which they really don't even advertise, because the Normandy invasion was so big that we didn't amount to much. But after that, we went up into Alsace and Lorraine up in northern France, where we were up there for over a year. And we were in little towns like Epinal and Reims and, oh golly, so many I don't even remember them all. And then came the invasion of the Battle of the Bulge. But what my story is involving me. We were attached to 7th Army headquarters, and I had several different times. We always had to go every day delivering messages from 7th Army headquarters to Corps. Well, this particular night, I was on the first one to go, and the guy that was supposed to go with me wasn't able to go, so I was by myself. Well, I went into the room where they gave the password of the day, and I got it, and I took off, and about half an hour or 3/4 of an hour, I came to an intersection where there was a roadblock. The day before, it hadn't been there. And when I came up to it, they asked for the password, and I gave it to them, and they said, "That's not it." And 4 guns went to my head. And they took me aside, and I pulled out my dog tags to show them. And to this day, I'll never forget it as long as I live. A tall Texan, and I knew he was from Texas from his brogue. He said, "Oh, Lieutenant, take him out and shoot him. Anybody can get dog tags." And he meant it. And I'll tell you, he scared me awful, awful bad. And I said, "Hey, take me to your commanding officer right now," because I was really worried. And luckily they did. Well, he and I talked for about a half an hour. Now, I finally convinced him that I was American the same as I thought he was, because, see, they thought I was German, and I thought they were German. So we had to convince each other. Well, finally he did, and then he said, "What army are you from?" And I said, "Seventh Army." He said, "Oh my goodness, that's our problem. We're from the Third Army." And they were the Third Army coming through our area heading for Bastogne. And they were only there for that one night. But I'll tell you, it almost cost me my life, because that guy really meant it when he said, take him out and shoot him. The next one on the list, we had something that happened for the whole Army area. It was about code machines. We had 4 code machines in our company from the very beginning, and they were so secret that I never heard the word that was used, that they called them. When a company moved one of these code machines, they were required to have a full captain and 2 other officers in order to move them. Well, this didn't happen to our company. This happened to another company, which I'm not even sure of the name of it. But they were moving the machine, and they were ordered not to even let it out of their sight, which they did. This was in France, right on the border of Germany and France. And they had it in the back of a 2.5-ton truck, and the code machine. And they went in and had dinner in a French restaurant. When they came out, the truck was gone. Somebody had stolen it. Well, this broke everything up, because the entire front had to be shut down, and all new code machines had to be changed to a different code. Eisenhower was so mad that he came down himself and broke the captain and the other 2. Well, to make a long story short, for some reason I never understood, they made this I forget the word. It wasn't as brought up at all after the war was over. And it wasn't until 1986 that this was disclosed, that it was released. And, oh dear.
They picked it up in the river.
Oh, even up to the time that I left, they never found the truck. But my son-in-law found it on the internet. They had released this secret of the name and about this thing in 1986. That's how long this was still a secret. Well, the name of the code machine is Sagaba. It had been in my company 2 years, and I had never heard the word. The machine was so secret. The third one that they've asked me to talk about, again, I was on a tour, and I couldn't find the town that I was supposed to go to. And it had gotten late at night, so I saw but I didn't understand that there was no lights. So I went into town, and I found no one, not even one person in the entire town. But I was so tired, I said, "Ah, the heck with it," so I went up and tried the door of a house, and it was open, so I just simply went in and laid down and went to sleep. It was a little eerie, because it wasn't a single sound of any kind. The whole entire town was empty. Well, the next morning I got up and drove to, and found where I was supposed to go to deliver the messages. And I said, "Hey, what's the story on this town that I spent the night in?" And they said, "Oh, those people have been relocated." Only at that time, I didn't know what they were even talking about. We hadn't been told that anything like that even existed, so I didn't even know until later that they had been taken to concentration camps because somebody had said things they shouldn't, and they killed every person in town. Before we left, the French government gave my company this citation. This is a French citation that they gave us in 1945, before we came home. And I'm kind of proud of that. I guess that's about it.
Very good, John. Any questions for John? Okay, thank you, John.